But we're going to start with the Ravens offense for fantasy what ifs. Now, the question I have is, what if the Ravens, with Todd Monken at offensive coordinator, now that the reign of Greg Roman is over, what if the Ravens are much more pass heavy than they have been over the past 4 years? What does that do for the fantasy value of Rashad Bateman, OBJ, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers? What does it do for J.K. Dobbins, who was obviously great at the end of last year? And could we finally see? I know I'm asking 100 questions, Lawrence, but I'll start with this
Answer
one.
all of them in order.
That's right. I want to start with this one. Could we finally see a Baltimore offense that supports more than one fantasy viable pass catcher? Because in the past, it's always just been Andrews, and then maybe you can start like Demarcus Robinson in a 16-team league. But like, are we finally going to get that this year, where we can start another pass catcher for the Ravens?
No, I think you will. And to that, actually, in 2021, I mean, you had Hollywood Brown finish as the wide receiver 22. So I get you would say that's a dude you would put in there. He put up over 1,000 yards. And I don't actually even believe that they'll pass the ball so much more than they already did. Think about this, fellas. Over Lamar's last 24 starts, he's averaged 29 and a half passes per game. Two of those games he got hurt in the first quarter. So the numbers drop. So realistically, we're looking at 31, 32 passes a game already. The difference will be how the passes are distributed in the offense and how we're going to get that. Todd Monken is going to do the exact opposite of what Greg Roman did in the passing game. Greg Roman's passing game was so confined and tight and having fullbacks in the slot running wheel routes. No more of that's going on. None of that. What Todd Monken is going to do, and he already said this is what he did at UGA. He wants to create space. He wants to play in space. He wants to widen everything out and make the defense work. What he does do, like Greg Roman, is he's going to use his tight ends, but in a different way. We're not going to just see, 3 tight ends coming out every play and then, running on 3rd and 15. Nah, he's going to use those tight ends, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, much like how he used Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, 2 completely different type of players, right? But both was effective. So what he'll be able to do is get these dudes like more catchable targets. Now it remains to be seen which one of these receivers will step in to fill that void, who will be that receiver we use in fantasy, because we know it's going to be Andrews. We know that for a fact. If OBJ is healthy for a whole year, we know he can still play. You got Zay Flowers. I think it's a good collective group of receivers. It'll be hard to guess which one going to go over 1,000 yards. What we do know is that all of this is great for brother Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, I do agree there. Kyle, is there one pass catcher? I know that Lamar recently described Rashad Bateman as wide receiver 1. That's what he said. So are we going with Bateman as the other guy besides Andrews who can thrive in this offense, or do you think it'll be somebody else?
I think Bateman might be like the best price adjusted option, although I do question like how we're going to see him used, because last year it was very effective in that they used him as a deep threat. He was elite in yards per route run, and I think for the very few games we got to see him, he actually helped the offense improve just by being a guy that defenses really had to focus on. He was so efficient that even if his targets per route run doesn't look good, he is a high impact player every time they targeted him. So defenses had to respect that. I think it helped everyone. It helped his efficiency. I don't think it would result in him getting the ball a ton, but it helped his efficiency. And more importantly, from an offensive perspective, it helped the offense do what it was trying to do. And then he got hurt and we didn't see very much of it. If he's used like that again, he'll probably give us at least more than we would expect good spike weeks. I'm not sure he'll be much of a consistent producer. I also could see us getting just a lot more like short passing game, get the guys the ball, because the way that Greg Roman ran the offense kind of reminds me of, Denny, what you or I would do if we ran an NFL offense. He did a lot of smart things. He did a lot of play action. He passed, like he had his offense pass deep, pre-snap motion. And then you ask him any further specific details and he knows nothing about it.
Nothing.
That's what he did. He did like some of the high level analytics.
Yeah. It got real tough for them when they could, they look like the best offense in football in between the 20s. But then you
Yeah.
get into the red area, it's like where you depend on, like Lamar and Andrews and J.K. Dobbins. You're like, all right, one of my guys is going to cash in right now, but they don't because they just get so, they're so tight in that offense. And so what Todd Monk is going to do, and he's going to spread that out. And the quarterback in the run game, instead of just solely depending on that, he'll use it just as a stressor to the defense, and that'll make the offense as a whole more scary.